After 5 years of trial, Justice Kumba Silla Kamara has on Wednesday sentenced to death for the murder of Ibrahima Solo Sandeng. Yankuba Badjie, ex-director of NIA, who is the first accused person, Sheikh Omar Jang, ex-director of operations, who is the third accused person, Boubacar Sala, the fourth accused person, Tamba Masire, the seventh accused person, and Lamin Dabo, the eighth accused person. The other accused, Luis Gomez, ex-deputy director of the said agency, who is the second accused person, died in the course of the trial while in the custody of the state, and Yusfa Jammeh, who is the fifth accused person, was acquitted by the court before the end of the trial upon the state's application for his acquittal for lack of evidence to continue prosecuting him, and Haruna Suso, who is the sixth accused person, is discharged and acquitted in all counts, and he shall be released. Except Lamin Langsanyang, the accused person refused to enter the dock the last time they came to court. They remain seated despite the judge's order that they must get in the dock. Their refusal is a protest to the judge's insistence to continue with the case despite the call by the accused persons to rescue herself in the case. Reading the judgment at the High Court in Banjul on Wednesday, Justice Kumba Silla Kamara said, due to the heinous crimes committed by Yankuba Badjie, the first accused person, Sheikh Omar Jang, the third accused person, Boubacar Sala, the fourth accused person, Tamba Masire, the seventh accused person, and Lamin Dabo, the eighth accused person, which led to the gruesome murder of late Solo Sandeng. 1. Yankuba Badjie, Sheikh Omar Jang, Boubacar Sala, Tamba Masire, and Lamin Dabo are sentenced to each to death for the murder of Solo Sandeng for count 2, which shall be carried out with accordance with the law, subsection 28 of the Criminal Code. Yankuba Badjie, Sheikh Omar Jang, Boubacar Sala, Tamba Masire, and Lamin Dabo are also sentenced to each 10 years in prison for count 1 for conspiracy to murder, contrary to section 204 of the Criminal Code. Yankuba Badjie, Sheikh Omar Jang, Boubacar Sala, Tamba Masire, and Lamin Dabo are also sentenced to each 5 years in prison for counts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for causing harm to Nogoy Njai, Modu Ngom, Kafu Bayo, Ibrahima Jabang, Fatou Kamara, and Fatmata Jawara, contrary to section 214 of the Criminal Code. Yankuba Badjie, Sheikh Omar Jang, Boubacar Sala, Tamba Masire, and Lamin Dabo are also sentenced to 5 years in prison for the offense of conspiracy in committing felony for each counts 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, contrary to section 368 of the Criminal Code. The ninth accused person, who is Lamin Langsanyang, is sentenced to 10 years in prison for count 15 and 10 years in prison for count 16. The same person is sentenced to 5 years in prison for count 17 for the account of forgery, contrary to section 322 of the Criminal Code. Lamin Langsanyang is also sentenced to 5 years in prison for count 18 for making documents without authority, contrary to section 332 of the Criminal Code. The first, third, and ninth accused persons, who is Yankuba Badjie, Sheikh Omar Jang, and Lamin Langsanyang, are sentenced to 5 years in prison each for count 19 for the offense of fabricating evidence to intend to deceive judicial proceedings, contrary to section 98 of the Criminal Code. The first accused person, Yankuba Badjie, is sentenced to 1 year in prison for count 20 for the offense of disobedience to duty, contrary to section 115 of the Criminal Code. The first and third accused persons, Yankuba Badjie and Sheikh Omar Jang, are sentenced to each 8 years in prison for count 21 for the offense of abducting to murder, contrary to section 235 of the Criminal Code. The first and third accused persons, Yankuba Badjie and Sheikh Omar Jang, are sentenced to each 6 years in prison for each account 22, 23, 24, and 25 for the offense of abducting in order to subject persons with severe harm, contrary to section 237 of the Criminal Code. The prosecution team in the case of the 9 intelligence officers was headed by lawyer Antuman Gay and comprised of Richard Y. Mendy, Lamin S. Kamara, Yasin Senghor, and Kombe Gay. The accused persons were standing trial on 25 charges, ranging from murder, causing grievous harm, accessory, conspiracy to commit felony, among others. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou, I am Yankuba Badjie.